Have you ever thought about how many decisions you make in a day based on the sheer amount of stuff you own? Let's take a moment and ponder. From the moment you wake up, you're inundated with choices. What clothes to wear, what breakfast to eat, which route to take to work, and that's just the beginning. Now, try to magnify that to encompass all the decisions you make in a week, a month, or a year. It's a staggering number, isn't it? It's the paradox of choice. The more options we have, the more overwhelmed we become. This is a symptom of our contemporary consumerist society. We're living in an era of abundance where we can access an array of goods and services with a click of a button or a stroll down a supermarket aisle. Yet, this abundance can lead to decision fatigue, reducing our happiness and increasing our stress levels. But what if there was a way out? A way to simplify our lives, to reduce the number of decisions we have to make, and to focus on what truly matters. Enter minimalism. Minimalism isn't about owning less for the sake of owning less. It's about making deliberate choices, about deciding what's truly important and letting go of the rest. It's about decluttering not just our homes, but our lives and our minds. It's about living with intentionality, where every item we own, every decision we make serves a purpose. This isn't a new concept, but it's one that's gaining traction in our increasingly complex world. Minimalism is a response to the overconsumption, to the decision fatigue, to the stress that's become so prevalent in our society. More than a design style or a trend, minimalism is a mindset, a philosophy, a way of life. So, let's take a step back from the hustle and bustle, from the constant noise of consumerism. Let's embrace the simplicity, the clarity, the peace that comes with minimalism. Imagine a life where you have more time, more money, and less stress. That's what minimalism can offer. Now, let's take a look at a real-life example to better understand the benefits of minimalism. Imagine someone we'll call Alex. Alex was once a classic consumer, always chasing the latest and greatest, from tech gadgets to fashion trends. His life was a whirlwind of purchases, but he found himself feeling overwhelmed and unsatisfied. His home was cluttered, his bank account was often depleted, and he felt a constant pressure to keep up with the Joneses. Feeling trapped in this cycle, Alex decided to make a change. He began to explore minimalism. The initial steps were challenging, to say the least. The idea of parting with his possessions was daunting. After all, he'd spent a lot of time and money acquiring them. But he started small, decluttering one room at a time and selling or donating items he no longer needed or used. Gradually, Alex started to see the benefits of his new lifestyle. His home became a place of peace, free from clutter. He discovered that he was spending less time cleaning, organizing, and maintaining his possessions, and more time doing things he loved. His stress levels decreased, and he found himself enjoying a newfound sense of freedom. The financial benefits were also significant. By buying less, Alex was able to save more. He was no longer living paycheck to paycheck, but was able to put money aside for his future, and even take a few trips he'd always dreamed of. But perhaps the most profound change was in Alex's mindset. He discovered that the things he owned didn't define him. He found contentment in simplicity and satisfaction in knowing that he was making conscious, intentional decisions about his consumption. This transformation might seem extreme, but it's about finding what works for you. It's not about deprivation, but about freedom. Alex's story is a testament to the power of minimalism. But remember, your journey is your own. It's about making choices that align with your values and improve your quality of life. It's not about having less for the sake of less, but about making room for more. More time, more peace, more freedom. So, what did our case study gain from adopting a minimalist lifestyle? It's a pertinent question. We all seek fulfillment and contentment in our lives, and it's fascinating to see how a rejection of excess can lead to the attainment of these goals. Firstly, let's talk about financial freedom. With a minimalist approach, our case study began to spend less on items that were not necessary or did not add value to their life. This meant fewer impulse purchases, less money spent on maintaining possessions, and a reduction in debt. As a result, they gained greater control over their finances, enabling them to invest in experiences rather than things, and even save for the future. But the benefits of minimalism extend beyond the financial. Our case study also experienced less stress. A cluttered environment often leads to a cluttered mind, and by removing unnecessary items from their life, they were able to focus more on the present moment and less on their possessions. This reduced stress levels and increased their overall well-being. Time, as we all know, is a precious commodity. With minimalism, our case study found they had more of it. They spent less time cleaning, organizing, and managing their possessions, which freed up hours that could be spent on hobbies, relationships, or personal growth. In a world where we're constantly racing against the clock, the gift of time is invaluable. Let's not forget about happiness. The pursuit of happiness is a universal endeavor, and our case study found that minimalism brought them closer to this elusive goal. By focusing less on material possessions and more on experiences and relationships, they found greater joy and satisfaction. They discovered that happiness isn't found in the latest gadget or fashion trend, but in the simple pleasures of life. And finally, minimalism helped our case study live a more purposeful life. By removing the excess, they were able to identify what was truly important to them. This clarity of purpose guided their decisions and actions, leading to a life that was more aligned with their values and aspirations. But let's dispel a common misconception. Minimalism doesn't mean you have to live without. It's not about deprivation, but about intentionality. It's about choosing to include in your life only those things that serve a purpose or bring joy. It's about removing the excess so you can focus on the essential. So, remember, minimalism isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. It's a personal journey that looks different for everyone. What's important is that it's a conscious decision to live with less in order to gain more. As you can see, minimalism isn't just about having less stuff. It's about making room for what truly matters. Interested in trying out minimalism? Here are some practical steps to get you started. Firstly, let's talk about decluttering. It's the heart and soul of minimalism. Start by assessing your surroundings. Look at each item and ask yourself, does this add value to my life? If the answer is no, consider letting it go. Remember, this isn't about getting rid of everything you own. It's about making space for the things that truly matter. Next, think about your buying habits. Are you a habitual shopper? Do you often buy things on a whim? If so, try implementing a 30-day rule. If you want to buy something, wait 30 days. If you still want it after a month, then go for it. More often than not, you'll find that the urge to buy passes. This practice not only saves money, but also helps you avoid unnecessary clutter. Now, let's shift our focus to experiences over possessions. Consider this. When you look back on your life, what will you remember? The things you owned or the experiences you had? Most people would say the latter. So, instead of buying a new gadget or piece of clothing, invest in experiences. Travel, learn a new skill, or spend time with loved ones. These are the things that enrich our lives. Another essential aspect of embracing minimalism is mindfulness. Be present in each moment and appreciate what you have. This helps you resist the urge to constantly want more and allows you to find contentment in simplicity. Lastly, remember to be patient with yourself. Transitioning to a minimalist lifestyle isn't an overnight process. It takes time to break old habits and form new ones, so take it one step at a time. Remember, minimalism isn't a one-size-fits-all. It's about finding what brings you joy and letting go of the rest. So, could minimalism be the answer to our consumerist society's problems? We've taken a deep dive into the ocean of consumerism and surfaced with a new perspective. We've seen how the multitude of choices can be more overwhelming than liberating, creating a paradox of choice that leaves us feeling unsatisfied. We've explored the concept of minimalism, not as a restrictive way of life, but as an empowering tool. It helps us focus on what truly matters, cutting through the noise of unnecessary consumption. We've discussed the benefits of this approach, from financial to environmental and even psychological. It promises a life less cluttered, more meaningful, and ultimately more satisfying. We've also looked at how to start this journey towards minimalism. Small, consistent steps can lead to big changes over time. Whether you choose to adopt minimalism or not, the choice is yours. But remember, less can indeed be more.